Chappie's Crypto here. I'll just turn this music down. Hey, it's Chappie's Crypto. We are back for episode 17 for the trading session from the 10th night of the 10th of in the morning of the 11th of August and 2022. It's, as I said, Chappie's Crypto here, ready to go again. So let's just move that screen off. And last night, wow, what a night. I only ended up taking one trade for the evening. Obviously a bit gun shy after Tuesday night session where I got hacked up a bit. However, one trade, not amazing. It was profitable, only $78 return. That's net return. This is on my demo account. So for people that have me watching me, my goal is to try and double my demo account. My demo account started at $10,000 about just over 3 weeks ago now, or 3.5 weeks ago roughly, and I'm tracking pretty well with my account balance sitting at just under 15,000. And so what happened last night? Well, this is what happens when there's a news event. So this is the 15-minute chart with the NASDAQ E-mini micro contract and the September expiry date. So yeah, that's just I'm trading the current contract at the moment. And I was watching the markets in the leading up to this. I obviously I've learned from previous sessions to not trade this area. I've got myself in trouble trying to get in a bit early and get a move. Interestingly, this would have been pretty interesting to possibly take a long position there. However, I wasn't actually paying any attention to the news, so I was watching the markets. I sort of started paying proper attention just a few minutes before 8:30. This green area being the 8:30 till midday time frame in New York. And markets open and they exploded. It just tore up here. It was just insane. I didn't know what was going on. I just sat back, and I'm glad I did sit back, and I just watched what happened here. And lo and behold, when I pulled up the forexfactory.com website, I noted that the inflation figures released. So 8:30 a.m. I don't know why this is showing this at the moment this way. However, I just wonder if it shows me this. I'll just go back here. I apologize. I'll just see if I can show what I was looking at yesterday. So let's go to August. Here we go. And what happened was that's really odd. When I looked at that, anyway, when I opened up the thing, this is the news event that was on. The CPI figures were released at 8:30 in the morning, and lo and behold, 8:30 in the morning, bang. Why? Well, the results were slightly better than expected. So the market was anticipating slightly worse results, ended up being a little bit better. Now, irrespective of whatever your beliefs around news events, obviously, if you're somewhat a big fan of the market maker, we have told ourselves or convinced ourselves that the big money people, market makers, will actually use news events to hide their true intentions. And if that's the case, the true intentions would take the market up, which they well and truly did, and then the price does stabilize. So after the craziness of that first 15 minutes, I started to look to see where there's going to be an option to take a trade. So as we move down the time frames, you'll see here that I did take a trade, but I'll go right down to the 1 minute time frame and just show you the methodology I had. This was kind of an interesting one because when you've got such crazy movement here, it's like, how do you know what to do? Like, what's the move you want to look for? So I was trying to be really patient. I've one of the things I reflected on, I do like to be in trades. So I really was a lot of self-talk to say, don't take a trade unless there's a definite setup. And so after the market had been open for 15 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, and at that point, I'll just change, yes, right. So this is around 9 o'clock. We've got market open at 9:30, the equities market open. And so typically you'll see a lot more volatility in just this area here. I think this thing probably shook the market around a lot. So there wasn't a huge amount of massive movement at that point. But what I did note is I took note of the fact that we've got a bit of a range formed here, and there's a bit of a range here. So I'd seen the fact that price had come down here, and I was anticipating the fact that it was going to try and regain some of this. It was going to be a bit of a correction before it may do and eventually move back up. So for me, I was looking for an opportunity to take a short because that was my bias I'd had after this craziness of this move. And I'll show you what actually, and this is just being a bit gun shy, so I didn't follow my plan exactly right, and I actually pulled out of the trade a bit early because I didn't want to take another losing trade after last night or the night before's effort. But because I'd seen this crazy move up, I'd actually drawn onto my charts here so I'd actually marked, I wanted to identify a halfway point between this and this sort of area. So bottom of that candle there, let's use that as the top of this little particular range, come down to the top of this little range, and I wanted to identify the halfway point as a potential target as where price might draw to if I were going to set this as a target. Didn't quite get as far as that, but it was really interesting because you see over here, price came down to that level, not quite there. So, if I'd stayed in the trade, I may or may not have actually taken this out. However, what had happened here is I took this short position here, reason being that we'd had this bit of a break, came down and then came back up. So if you can see this slight market structure shift here, it's actually going to be accurate in the 1 minute. That there is your market structure break. Price then retraces down. I'm doing that the wrong way, I apologize. This is the market structure break. So this is that strong candle. I totally told that the wrong way. It's been a very long day and I'm pretty tired at the moment. However, let's just do it again. So we've got this. So what's the criteria I'm looking for? If price comes down below here, we've got a market structure shift. And once we get the market structure shift, which this is a really nice big strong candle. So that candle, which is the 930 and did this. So we've got a shift of market structure. We've got a fair value gap here. And so I took 3 short contracts there. So 3 sell 3, expecting price to go this way. This is a potential target and price came down. I was actually up a reasonable amount. I think I was up to $300 around this level, and that price started to retrace. And I just had this fear that we may have seen this happen. So because I was a bit worried that was going to happen, I had my stop originally set at that level. But when price came down here and started to retrace, and it was getting back into this level, I just cut the trade. I locked in $82.50 profit for that. So that was okay. I'm happy to take the win. However, I did actually go on the market for really quite some time last night because I was interested to see how it was going to play out. Interestingly, if I'd kept my stop at that level, and this is just something for me to reflect on, price didn't actually come up and stop out at that level, and it did come down here. And because of this, if I'd actually held this out, and it's one of those what if scenarios, you could have actually used this as a possible target to take some profits. So in theory, if I'd left my stop where I'd had it originally, let the trade play out and not be chicken, and just cut the trade short. And this is just, as I said, a bit gun shy after a big loss the night before. However, I wasn't actually risking. I think I only had, because I only had 3 contracts in this, I'd made sure that my maximum stock loss is only going to be about $100 loss. So I was only really risking $100 there. I could have really just let that ride. And as I saw this, use that as a potential target, maybe take 2 off there, see if we come down here. If not, maybe take the last one there. Would have locked in a, probably $300-400 profit if I'd done that. But anyway, you live and learn. 1 trade for the night. That's all that I ended up taking. I did watch this for quite some time. It didn't do a whole lot after that little move there. When I do look at this, I wonder if there's any other opportunities to go the other direction, because when you look at this movement here, is there anything else? Possibly not a huge strong move. If you're going to be really, really technical, this was interesting. So we've got, clearly it's broken down underneath this previous level here, started to retrace, come back down here, and we've got a bit of a break of market structure here. So yeah, there's a market structure shift break there. There's a fair value gap just there. So you could have taken a long at that point. At this stage, although I was watching, I actually missed that. That would have been a decent trade, and with the target here, we locked in a nice little profit. So there's definitely 2 really strong, good setups in that morning session. Definitely this one with a target of maybe down here. So that would have been, that's a good trade. And this one here as well, that long, and to take up probably just to that level. So there's as ICT in the inner circle trader talks about, is taking the meat from the sandwich. So there's some pretty 2 decent setups there, and that was it. So that was my trades from last night. Let's have a quick look. It is 8 p.m. or just 10 past 8 p.m. Australian time on Thursday, the 11th of August at the moment. What I might do is I'm just going to go out to my 15-minute chart here, and I'm just going to set up the chart for tonight's session. and I'll just get my bias in mind. So at the start of the week, for people that watched my earlier video, I'd identified this as a potential target that we might move to. So if we look here, we've got Monday sessions done this. Come down Tuesday, we've got a reversal midweek on the Wednesday. The price starting to move. We've actually cleared up this, happened in the overnight. So we've cleared this. It's going to be interesting to see if we're going to come back down here and do this, or if it's just going to do this and keep on moving up. So that's definitely where I'm thinking and hoping price moves to. So I do have a general underlying bias long. However, it'll depend a little bit on what I'd love to see happen. And we'll draw this in. I might just mark out this. I'll throw in the time at midnight so I can extend this out. So for one of the things I'd like to do here is, I'm a bit of a cheat. I actually just take lines I've drawn before. So if I just click on this Wednesday line, I'll clone that and I'll bring it up here. What I'm trying to do is to line up this line so I see effectively the session. So see how it's down the bottom there, the price, or that's marked out at midnight. That's exactly where I want it placed, but I just want it placed up here to match up where the candle is. So what I'll do is I'll go down to the 1 minute to be really precise to ensure that line is exactly where I want it to be. Let's go with squeeze back here. And let's make sure this is lined up correctly. So what I'm doing here is just ensuring that this line starts perfectly on the midnight point. For people that are familiar with TradingView, you have this little magnifying tool, so we can get in quite a bit of detail here. And I want that line to hit right at the price right on midnight. So that's the price right on midnight. And we can scroll back now with a 15-minute time frame and reset the chart to fit. And there we go. We've got our line marking out price at midnight, which is the opening price at midnight. In about 2.5 hours time, we'll see the price at 8:30. So what would be brilliant, and I hope this is what it will look like when I open the charts back up, is that we see a nice big move down here. Maybe come and take this lovely little fair value gap here, which it looks like it may have already done that just there. I'd love to see it do this and start moving this direction. Maybe this, that would be awesome. So I'd love to see that play out. That's what I would hope to see. We'll see after tonight's session if that's the way it works out. But that's it. So I'm ready for tonight's trading. Got my chart set up, ready to go. I'll just press this at the bottom here to make sure it saves and refreshes. So if I open up TradingView again, it'll remember what I've drawn on the screen. And also, better make sure I change the text there to Thursday. And there you go. All right, that's it. I'm ready for tonight's session. I hope you enjoyed. So one quick review for last night's session. And when I do open up the forexfactory.com and see if there's any news events coming up, interestingly, there is some news here. I don't know what's going on with, I might just reload this. There was something, okay, this is Thursday, the news for Thursday. So what's happening in the news for Thursday? This here, PPI MM, I wonder what that actually is. So if you're not familiar or not sure what these things mean here, what you can do is if you actually click on this little icon under where it says detail, and it goes through the detail here telling you what the actual event is. So this one here, so tomorrow, or in this session coming up, the news, there's a news report talking about the change in the price of finished goods and services sold by producers, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What it's saying here is if the actual figure is greater than the forecast, so the forecast is 0.2%, so if it's greater than that, it's good for currencies. So I'm still learning this and trying to see, so I'll be interested to see the impact this is going to have on the market when that news gets announced. It says on here that it's 10:30 p.m., which I think this must be localized time. So that will be right bang on market open. So which 10:30 p.m. in Australia is 8:30 a.m. in New York. So that news will get released. It is the nice thing about the Forex Factory website for news is anytime you see an event, it's in red. It's a high probability it will have an impact on the prices. Yellow, minimal impact, and this amber/orange color is that medium impact. So definitely keep an eye out for these. When you see these red ones, just be super cautious is one of the things that ICT talks about quite a bit. Okay, there you go. That was that was Forex Factory. I'll just close that again. So just to keep on my mind, keep an eye on the price at 8.30. We may get some fairly possible chopper movement. Interesting to see if it comes right back down here, because we do have this fair value gap here, or this imbalance that hasn't been, in theory, balanced. So who knows if it comes all the way back down there, but yeah, I'm hoping for this. That's where I'm hoping we're going to go. There you go, Chubby's Crypto. That was the review for last night, and I will just turn off. Looking forward to seeing you again very shortly. Until then, bye for now.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.